Hello, thank you for coming to play. My name is Mike van Acker. I run trivia shows. Let's go. Question 1. In Greek mythology, whose touch turned everything into gold? That's King Midas, the Midas touch. Question 2. In which sport is double dribble and 3 seconds in the key a violation? That's basketball. Question 3. In which Stephen King novel does a writer crash his car only to be held prisoner by his so-called rescuer? That's Misery, and I think it was Kathy Bates played the rescuer in the movie, and there's that scene, and all I'm going to say is ankles. And if you know that particular movie, you'll probably never forget that scene. Question 4, is it true or false? True or false? Grey's Anatomy, as in the TV show, is also the name of a famous medical textbook first published in 1858. That's true. There was a reference book of human anatomy written by Henry Gray, illustrated by Henry Van Dyke Carter, for anyone that cares. A big hello to the Van Dyke Carters, and first published in London in 1858, and it too was called Grey's Anatomy. Question 5. Which author created James Bond? Ian Fleming created James Bond. He also wrote Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, which is a curious little quirk, I think. Question 6. Who are the title characters in the children's book series in which most stories start, I have a little sister Lola. She is small and very funny. That's Charlie and Lola. Charlie and Lola were also the names of my dogs. Question 7. Born in 1921, by what name was the actor Charles Dennis Baczynski better known? Here's a hint. He starred in over 60 movies, and in the early 1970s was the biggest movie star in the world. Charles Dennis Baczynski was better known as Charles Bronson. There you go. After question 7, we do the first clues for the Who Am I. Today, it's a band. Who Am I? We got together in 1971, 4 musicians, each with separate careers in LA, and we all had one thing in common, and that is we had each performed as backup musicians in Linda Ronstadt's band. We released our debut studio album in 1972, which had 2 hits on it, and those hits were Take It Easy and Witchy Woman. Now, I know some of you will know it from that already, and that's fine, but if you don't, more clues after question 14. Question 8. Which 5-letter word means to present a bold front with intent to mislead and a steep, broad hill? That's a bluff. Question 9. What name is given to a newborn jaguar, as in the animal, the jaguar? Well, I'd call it Dave. No, the answer we're looking for is kitten. It's a jaguar kitten. Question 10. Which vegetable has one of each vowel in its name? That'd be cauliflower. Everyone's favourite, except me and most people that I know. Let's move on. Question 11 is a true or false. True or false, in 1948, penicillin was discovered by accident by Sir Alexander Fleming. That's actually false. It was in 1928, but penicillin was discovered by accident. So Alexander Fleming left an experiment lying around in his lab. He went away on holidays for 2 weeks. He came back and this thing was growing in a petri dish, and he went, check that out. Turns out it was a penicillin spore. I may have got some of the details that are a little bit rough, but that's basically the story. You can Google it. I never promised to be an expert on everything. Question 12. Which 6-letter B word means a film or TV biography, often with fictionalized episodes, basically an informal film based on the life of a famous person? That's a biopic. So in the last 5 or 7 years, there's been the Elton John one, that was called Rocket Man, and the Freddie Mercury one, was that called Bohemian Rhapsody? Both good movies. Question 13. Which former child stars were twins, think a 1980s, 1990s American sitcom, and celebrate their birthday on June 13? It's coming up to their birthday soon. That's Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, who starred in Full House, both of them playing Michelle Tanner. That's something that sitcoms do these days. If there's a child actor, they try to get twins so there's not too much strain put on any one child actor. Good-o. Question 14. Tim Brooke Taylor, Bill Oddie and Graham Garden were collectively known as which comedy troupe? That's The Goodies, and as a child, The Goodies were witchcraft to me, and my brother Paul. We both loved it. More clues now for the Who Am I? It's the band, think 1970s LA. They were Linda Ronstadt's backing band. They had their first album. I can't tell you the name of it because that was the name of their band, but they had the hit Witchy Woman off it. Who am I? We became best known as a country rock band. Our fifth studio album, released in 1976, contained one of our most famous songs, and it had the line, "You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave." That should make it a bit easier. More clues coming up after question 20 if you still need them. Question 15. Is New Jersey a city or state of the USA? New Jersey is a state, and I somehow thought it was a city. I don't know anything. Question 16. Here's something different. If you've been listening to this podcast for the entire run of the episodes, this is at 57, you've probably thought to yourself more than once, why are there no accounting questions? Well, I'm going to remedy that right now. Here's an accounting question for you. Question 16. In accounting, the two primary methods of tracking income and expenses are the cash basis and the what other type of basis? That's the accrual basis. There you go. Now everyone's happy. Question 17. Which South Asian country's flag is a large red dot on a green background? That's Bangladesh, and if not for cricket, I would not have known much about Bangladesh at all. They do very well to have a competitive cricket team, given it rains there 9 or 10 months of the year. Question 18. How old was Anne Frank, she of the famous diary? How old was Anne Frank when she died? Was she 15? Was she 35? Was she 55? Anne Frank, she was 15, just 15 when she passed away. Question 19 on this podcast is always still alive or not so much. I give you a name and I ask you to have a think about whether you think that person is still alive or not so much. Today, legendary American TV host Johnny Carson. Is Johnny Carson still alive or not so much? Johnny Carson passed away in 2005. Not so much. Poor old Johnny. Here's a good story for you though. December 19, 1973, it's The Tonight Show. Johnny Carson's out the front doing his monologue, and he makes a little joke about how America is about to face a toilet paper shortage. Sadly though, millions of viewers believed every word he said, didn't get that it was a joke, and rushed out and panic bought toilet paper, and suddenly there was a real toilet paper shortage, all because Johnny Carson made a joke about it. What a crazy time, the 1970s, when people would panic buy toilet paper. We'd never do that, would we? Would we? Anyway, let's just move on. Question 20, music question to bring us home. Which British band had a hit with a song called Romeo and Juliet off the Making Movies album way back in 1980? I say way back in 1980. Some would argue they were the golden years. They might have been mine. I don't know. I can't tell. But that band was Dire Straits. Romeo and Juliet. Very cool song. If you don't know it, you absolutely need to have a listen to that. Final clues now for the Who Am I? We've sold over 200 million albums. We're known for the songs Desperado, Life in the Fast Lane, Take It to the Limit, and Best of My Love, and for the reunion tour that we said we would never do, so we called it Hell Freezes Over. We are the Eagles. That's 21 questions done. Time now for the player question. I've said it before and I shall say it again. You have a standing invitation to send me a trivia question for this part of the show. Last episode, my listener Perry sent me the question, in which country was British comedian Spike Milligan born? So I looked into it, and it's pretty interesting. Spike Milligan was born in India back in 1918. He moved to the UK, did his whole comedy thing. Along the way, though, his parents retired to the Australian town of Woy Woy. And Spike visited there and he said of Woy Woy, it's the world's only above-ground cemetery. He also called it God's waiting room. Now, to the people of Woy Woy, I don't know if I have any listeners in Woy Woy, but I'm just saying I think it's lovely there. I've been there. I've done comedy shows there one time and 2 times, actually, now I think of it. And Spike's just not telling the truth. Anyway, Spike Milligan, also known for the joke on his tombstone, his headstone, which says, I told you I was ill. Excellent. This episode, Lynn has sent in, what was the maiden name of Posh Spice before she married David Beckham? You know, Lynn, my knowledge of the Spice Girls is not all it could be, so I can't tell you that off the cuff. I'm going to have to go research that. I'll have a little Google. Research makes it sound like I'm going to put on a white coat and do experiments. I'm just going to Google it, but I'll give you all the answer to that if you don't know it. Next episode. In fact, I'll give you the answer next episode, even if you do know it. You'll just have to quietly, patiently sit through that, if you don't mind. Thank you. If you'd like to submit a question for this part of the show, as I said before, you're very welcome to do that. 2 ways to get a message to me. You can email me, mike@triviatribe.com.au, or you can send me a message on Facebook. I've got a Facebook page. It's called 21 Questions by Trivia Tribe. Send it to me there. I'll acknowledge your message, whoever you send it to me, let you know that I've got it, and I will add your question to the list. We are a little way ahead at the moment, but I'm always taking new questions from my listeners because you guys matter to me. Okay, that's it for 21 questions for another episode. Thank you very much for listening. This podcast comes out every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. If you could subscribe to the show and maybe give it a review, that'd be awesome. I'd love that. Come back in a couple of days. We'll do it all again. My name is Mike van Acker. I love you. Catch you next time.